Strength of honesty. And this, when we talk about the strength of honesty, Gideon's honest with himself. He said, I am not this, and I am not that. I am weak. I am poor. I am terrorized. I am oppressed. And God say, you a mighty man of valor. Because he acknowledged the strength of his honesty, he acknowledged what his reality was. Too many people don't want to acknowledge their reality. That's why I said, Happy Mother's Day to all the good mothers, to all the good stepmothers, to all the good single fathers that has to, from time to time, play the role of a mother. Happy Mother's Day to all those groups. Why I say that? Because, I'm acknowledging there's a reality. There are good mothers out there. There's good stepmothers out there. There's good single fathers out there they're holding it down. They're taking on responsibility. Yeah. And sometimes, because life comes at us in so many different waves, wave after wave after, you know how waves coming on, wave after wave after wave after wave, sometimes it beats us down and we become traumatized. And we start saying, if it wasn't for bad luck, I wouldn't have any luck at all. That's a person that's been traumatized. Or here's another saying, that's just the way things go in my life. That's just the life of me. No. Life is truly worth living. But we got to connect with the right source. God calls an unlikely hero, Judges chapter 6. In times of overwhelming odds, God delights in calling the most unlikely candidates to accomplish his purposes. Everyone has an excuse of why they can't. But through God's grace, God knows we can. No one would have picked Gideon to rally the troops against the mighty Midianites. Even when Gideon was in charge, no one expected the total and complete destruction of the Midianite forces. No one would have chosen Gideon to be a military leader and a national hero. But God saw what he could be and called him anyway. You know, God, only God can see beyond our evident limitations, reveal the hidden hero in us. You know, God, God always, it seemed like, this is his pattern to me. He always picked the opposite of what people will pick. If you study by, even when God, he was going to anoint the second king of Israel, David, he bypassed all the older brothers and picked the one that was out in the field tending sheep. He said in his word, he said, Jacob I love, Esau I hated. And Gideon wasn't from a town he was from the tribe of Manasseh. Now Manasseh was part of the two sons of Joseph, Manasseh and Ephraim. But he said Manasseh would serve Ephraim, even though Ephraim was the younger of the two. So Manasseh was kind of he was relegated by Joseph to be less than Ephraim. And so this is where Gideon came from. But God saw in him a hidden hero. And God said, what I put in you is time for you to use. You know, and I'll say that you can live your whole life. And I'm being completely honest of my understanding with God. We can live our whole life and we just doing things incrementally, step by step by step. And then God say, this one time, what I put in you, I need you to do what I put in you to do. And now you went from hidden hero to mighty man of valor or mighty woman of valor. You went from hidden hero to mighty man, just like that. God say, I've designed you for this. Now, everything else will prepare you to get there, but I designed you for this. He designed Gideon to go fight the Midianites. Now, he was out there threshing the wheat through the wine press, trying to hide the food and the crops and stuff like that. And he was traumatized, and he lacked any kind of self-esteem. He lacked any kind of self-worth. And all of a sudden, God said, but I called you to do this. Now, when you do this, you're going to do this greatly, because that's what I put you here for. Amen. And sometimes as we travel and journey, we deal and we dabble in different things, because we're trying to just live our life out the way we feel God has planned for us to do. But there's that one thing that God said, I called you for this. And when I call you, this is going to make your name. I called you a person of valor for this. And anybody could be a person of valor based on what God had you to do. If he called you to do something at that specific time, it might not be to go battle the adversaries and enemies. It might be just to support someone that's going to go battle the adversary. But you're a mighty person of valor because you're doing what God has designed you to do.